Hello, everybody. Welcome to Average Guy Opinions. I'm your average guy, John Corelli. My cat is meowing at me. He is not happy. He wants me to let him outside, and I won't because we saw a coyote here a couple weeks ago, and I don't want him to be coyote food. It'd be one thing if he could just stay in the yard and let me watch him, but then he'll start to scamper away. He's been really good about not dashing far away, but one night he was out for like 3 hours. It really made us nervous. He was out from like 9 to midnight because he snuck out and we couldn't catch him. So, yeah, sorry, buddy. You gotta stay outside. So, what am I here to talk about after babbling for 35 seconds? I need coffee too, sorry. Okay, so I mentioned at the end of my five-parter about my father, and I'll probably go back to that too in a couple weeks because we're going to be doing more stuff until everything's done. But I did mention the weekend should be good. Friday tonight, I'm going to go see This is Spinal Tap with Logan and my brother and his girlfriend and her daughter, so that should be fun. Saturday, I'm doing lawn work and comedy. And then Sunday, I go up to Estes Park with my best friend in the whole wide world, Troy Hunt, for 2 to 3 days. We'll come back on Tuesday. I always joke about it because we do this once every year or two. We're not necessarily super consistent about it, but it's kind of funny. Two 53-year-old men. We're 3 months apart. He's 3 months older than me. I like to give him shit because he's 54 now, and I'm only 53, so blah to him. But I always call it this. I call them our gay weekends. We've never done anything gay, not even close. But you know, we've both been through. My divorce wasn't very rough. His was absolutely brutal. His divorce was so fucking brutal, and it sours you on the opposite sex sometimes. But he's an amazing person. I'm proud to call him my best friend. And but I do call these our little gay weekends because hey, maybe someday we'll switch it up. Louis C.K. did a bit about that once. He was back when he was 41 years old. He was like, I don't know, maybe I'll do the second half gay. I I don't think we will. If anything, we'd just be a platonic couple. I don't think either one of us. At least I'm not. I'm not remotely interested in Dick, whether it's his or anyone else's. I'm interested in mine. Okay, this is getting a little off the rails, but maybe I explain my friendship with him and what it is and how we got here. But so I met him freshman year, or no, excuse me, sophomore year, because we did not have freshman class. He went to Lakewood Junior High. I went to Wheat Ridge Junior High, and we met at Jefferson High School. We were both in the. It wasn't advanced placement. It was like the advanced English class, though. I mean, sometimes you guys see me speak, and you're like, "Really? You were in the advanced English?" And see, I can't even say it. Jesus Christ! But yeah, we can't. We were both in the same class, and it was full of academics, nerds. Let's call them nerds, shall we? And not that I was a super cool guy, and neither was he. We were somewhere in the middle of the road, but it was all like, really, book nerds, who were super smart, and we were relatively well read as well, and relatively intelligent. And so we ended up in that class too, based on, I guess, how we did in junior high. And it was funny. It was a real weird classroom. It was weird because it was only like 5 desks deep. It was like 8 or 9 across. And you come into the room, and teacher's desk is right there, and then all these desks. So, and the windows were on the far other side. So Troy went all the way to the row by the window, and in the back. And all the kids were, they're book nerds and they're good students, so they were all clustered around the teacher's desk. We're like 5 rows away. Well, he is. And so I come in and I see the situation. Probably the last kid to come to class. I often was. And I sit right next to him. And knowing how he is now, because I mean, I don't know how, I was an idiot. I still am an idiot, but back when I was 14, I was an extra idiot. And so and I hadn't turned 15 yet. I still had a month before I turned 15 in my sophomore year. He just like, just knowing him, was like, fuck, why are you sitting right next to me? But as it ended up, he didn't say anything because he's like me. We're both I wouldn't call us passive aggressive necessarily, but we hold shit in a lot, and then it sometimes explodes. That's one of the many reasons we get along so well. But eventually we just started talking. We just talked shit about the other people in the class. There weren't a lot, maybe a dozen of us in there. So we talked about the other 10 kids in the class. We talked about the teacher and how stupid things are and life is, and this sucks, and this dumbass school, and we weren't that negative all the time. And eventually we said, hey, what are you doing this weekend? We didn't get. I would go to his house sometimes. I remember after school, we'd hang out a little bit. He lived really close to Jefferson. His mom did. His parents were divorced, like my parents were, and so that probably helped us talk a little bit too. He had a stepmother, I had a stepfather. His mom was really cool, and I only met her a couple times, and then she ended up dying, I believe, the next year of breast cancer, which was hard, man. He handled it. He's a stoic guy, you know. I know he's got emotions running through him, and I know he can open up to me a little bit, but it's just, I think that's an old school thing that a lot of our fathers had, us Gen Xers do, was just like, don't cry, man. They see you cry, you're fucking dead. It really felt that way sometimes, and then he did. So he had to hold it together while he went off to live with his dad out in Columbine, near Columbine High School. But all of his friends were at Jefferson, so he commuted every day, like junior and senior year. And then we really started hanging out. Once he could drive, we hung out a lot. We hung out with his cousins in Arvada. We'd go to the mall and just cruise the mall very unsuccessfully. Never got any women, and he's a good-looking dude too. I'll show a picture of him. I'll show his high school picture because he has a nice bowl cut. He'll be very happy that I did that for him. But we just got along. Often politically, we haven't seen eye to eye. I think it's funny because I've gotten more left as I've gotten older, but so has he. I always considered him kind of moderate, and now we're both kind of more left. We're both teachers. It was funny when he got his MBA, and then I think. I believe he got his undergrad in business at UNC, and then I think he got his MBA at Regis, if I'm correct about that. Ended up running his own business for a while, his own construction business. He got a trust, I believe, when he was 21 or 25 from his the assets from his mother's death. And that was another thing we had going. We were both only children. I acquired some stepbrothers. And we each had a half brother that was like 10 years younger than us. So a lot of things, like Sean, my younger brother, is the same age as his younger brother Andy. Both great guys, by the way. I love Andy. Sean's a good dude, and so are my stepbrothers Rusty and Robbie. That's a little off the rails. Oh, and he also has a half sister named Becky. She's great too. But I think that those were things that we kind of could understand with single parent families for a while. But especially being only children, being very sports oriented, he was always better than me at every sport. I hated him for it. He was like, I honestly wondered, and still wonder sometimes, like, why are you friends with me? Because you do everything slightly better than I do, except for marriage. I got to be there. I did better marrying, but even that, mine's over. So who the fuck am I to talk? But yeah, and he's got a great kid too. His daughter's 19. She's going to Cal Berkeley, engineering. Kid, fucking engineering, and that's cool, and that makes me even happier to see more females get into the engineering world is amazing. So she's super smart. I met her, well, I'm gonna say met her, I mean, I had known her since she was a little kid, but I hadn't seen her for like close to 10 years. She came and watched me do comedy last month with Troy, and she's gorgeous. Don't tell Troy I said that, but she's just a knockout, and she's super smart and very cool. She's just a great person, and Troy should be proud of himself. He's raised a great kid. Another thing we see eye to eye on is we're not big participation trophy people. I know that's old school, but it was kind of funny. She was the valedictorian of her class. I forgot where she went, but she's a valedictorian. Traditionally, you've busted your ass academically to earn the title of valedictorian. It's not something they gift to you. You earn it. You have the best GPA in your school, and if you have the same GPA as the next guy, I guess somehow you earn some extra credit by doing something amazing and vaulting yourself to first place over the salutatorian, or however you say the second place person. But so generally they give the speech, or traditionally they give, and generally they give the speech at a graduation. And I talked to him about it. I thought, yeah, what was her speech like? He's like, she didn't do it. And I was like, what do you mean she didn't do it? She didn't want to? No, she had a speech prepared and everything. She did not get to. They had some popular kid read a poem she wrote. And I was like, Jesus. And that's where, honestly, I think part of the motivation to be valedictorian is you get to write and give a speech in front of all your peers at the end of all that. I think otherwise, what is this? Just it's an asterisk on your resume to go to college. So he and I see eye to eye on that a lot. It's like you lose, you man up, and you shake hands after. You win, you earn it, and you reap the rewards. And yeah, so it was kind of tough to see his daughter go through that, but it's also maybe a learning, necessarily learning lesson, but a character builder for her. Maybe I'll talk more about Troy because I didn't even barely get out of high school for the most part. Yeah, let's make this a part 1 of 2. See you guys next time. Bye.